Thank you, Mr. President. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, this session is a necessary reminder that colonialism is not a closed chapter in human history. As such, it is a call for all nations to continue their efforts to abolish it. Therefore, the World Peace Council, an organization born soon after World War II, with member organizations in dozens of countries, including the Brazilian Center for Solidarity with the Peoples and Struggle for Peace, Cebrapaz, adds its voice to that of the people of Western Sahara in demanding concrete actions to end the occupation and colonization of their territory by Morocco, so that the United Nations may finally fulfill its duty toward the people's self-determination. This is a fundamental principle of the so-called rules-based order, which according to its own charter must be implemented by this organization, answering to the people's will to eradicate war, exploitation, and oppression, and to promote peace, justice, liberation, and social emancipation. However, while the question of Western Sahara has remained on its agenda for no less than 6 decades, the Sahrawi people's yearning for freedom from colonial rule did not begin when the UN recognized it, or when the world powers finally admitted that colonialism is a nefarious system of oppression that must be abolished. Nor did it end when Morocco occupied Western Sahara 5 long decades ago, claiming to be recovering a territory that was never theirs, seeking but failing to crush the national liberation movement. This determination cannot be nullified by spurious trade agreements like those signed with the European Union, which in effect endorse the plundering of Sahrawi resources and the perpetuation of injustice, as warned by countless UN declarations and resolutions about the consequences of failing to implement the right to self-determination. It is not torn from people by torture, by censorship, forced disappearance, displacement, or exile. On the contrary, the Sahrawi people continue their absolute movement toward liberation, resisting the impositions of the occupier and its partners in coercive diplomatic processes that seek their subjugation, thus setting an example for humanity in the process of strengthening their society, having proclaimed their state through their legitimate representative, Front Polisario, its institutions in spite of such adverse conditions. And therefore, it is past time for us to assume our responsibility toward Western Sahara, not with vague calls for a return to failed negotiating frameworks or promoting plans favorable to the occupier, but treating this question instead as a non-negotiable issue of decolonization that must be concluded. Otherwise, we will continue to witness the irreversible degradation of the principle and right to self-determination for which peoples so valiantly fought for, the victory of force over the promise, hope, and collective action for a more just world. Thank you.